Welcome back to another So Average video. Little bit of a guide today. We are talking about the Digi-Threat scope. One of the reasons why I want to talk about this one in particular is because there are a couple of legends where they will benefit specifically from this scope more than any other legend, and it's not something you see that often in gameplay, but it is a super useful scope, clutch kind of situation kind of scope. And if you are just getting into Apex as well, this is something that could really help you with your aim, with your sort of finding enemies, and to get what is very similar to, I guess, Bloodhound's Tactical as well. So this is a Digi-Threat scope I've got in the R99 here. A digital threat scope can be put on SMGs, it can be put on shotguns, and it can be put on pistols. Back in the days of Titanfall 2, you could actually put it on pretty much any gun. I mean, if anyone who's played this since day one, just imagine being able to put a digital threat scope on something like an R301 or Flatnade. Just how OP that would be. That would just be incredible. I would love to see it, even just as an LTN, that a digital threat can go on anything. So if you have a look, what it does is it highlights enemies in red, basically a bit like a thermal, but it's more like a digital threat overlay. So it just turns them red, basically. You can see them a bit better. So if sort of spinning around, you can see even then that little red thing just kind of shows up. So even if you're going to play and you're just getting used to how the game looks, trying to find enemies, trying to work out your sensitivity settings, this is quite useful just for that alone. And we'll take it one step further, because it doesn't zoom in. It's a one-time scope, and there is another scope that has digital threat for sniper rifles, which we'll go into a little bit later. So stick around for that, because it's quite interesting, especially when it comes to gold weapons and care package weapons. But what the most useful thing about the Digi-Threats, of course, if you're up against a bang or you're playing bang, you hit the smoke, can't see the enemy. Now you can. You can't? Now you can. No. Now you see them? No you don't. Now you see them? No you don't. So now you can see them, they can't see you. So for someone like Bangalore, unless you're this kind of distance, it starts to fade away as it spreads, but very useful in a gunfight. And it doesn't matter on distance either, really. As long as they're in that smoke, you can still see it. The Digi-Threat works pretty much any range. Again, see over there. And there we go. I can see them through the smoke. Also, that works. They don't actually have to be in the smoke for that to work, because of course the Digi-Threat works whatever. So if I chuck down some smoke, thing over here, you see that guy over there. If I put it here, so I'm nowhere near him, he's definitely not in the smoke, I can still see him through the smoke. So that's one reason why you need a Digi-Threat is so useful for that alone. Same with the shotgun, it still works. No problem. And that's all shotguns as well, that's not just the Mozambique, whoop beak. It's also for the Mastiff, the PK, the Eva. Now, if we go to the care package weapons, the Prowler comes with the Digi-Threat. It's one of the reasons why it's so strong, because it comes with the Digi-Threat. It's a 1x SMG, so even Respawn knows that the Digi-Threat on SMG is super strong. Couple that with a gun that doesn't have very much recoil and has LMG style kind of level magazine and damage and fire rate. I mean, the Prowler, I miss the Prowler. I want this back in my life. I really do. I'm a heavy gun user, and we don't have an SMG at the moment because it's in the care package. And again, we go to something like a Wingman. Again, it still has Digi-Threat, so it works on pistols. So again, same thing. Very useful again. Now, another person that benefits from this, I'm going to swap over to Caustic. So again, this is going to be interesting. So normally, you've got your gas trap set out in a fight, an enemy runs into it. So if actually I just swapped to a normal gun quickly for a second. So I've got no scope, right? Can't see anything, works the same. Digi-Threat highlights them. So it works the same as bang, you'll get the same benefit. get the same benefit from the Digi-Threat. So for Bangalore and Caustic, this is very, 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 very useful. And also you're playing against Bangalore's and Caustics as well. The Digi-Threat is going to give you such an advantage. Alright, let's move on to the other type of Digi-Threat scope, which of course is the 4 to 10 Digi-Threat, which seems like a crazy amount of zoom, but look at that. I mean, that's insane. From miles away, you know. And again, if we go back to bang, still see him through the smoke from miles away. So that's where, again, it can be used on a sniper scope as well. Now, if you go to someone like Bloodhound, again, you've got the smoke in the way, you can't see. But of course now, so his tactical does give you a sort of Digi-Threat. But where it really works with Bloodhound is when he goes into his ultimate, then he has sort of perma Digi-Threatness. So what we'll do is we'll get some Bangalore smoke on the go.
Now for the right choice.
Where is he?
Giving him the chimney.
Okay. It doesn't really work. Anyway, so if I go into his ultimate, so for 30 seconds, everybody is Digi-Threat without you even having to aim. From literally any distance as well. You can see people from the other side of the map if you've got clear line of sight. Not a problem. You don't need a Digi-Threat scope. You can scan people still, which gives you even more Digi-Threat. And it's like an extra Digi-Threat over the Digi-Threat. So that's why Bloodhound is so incredibly strong, because he has one of the strongest scopes in the game as his ability. And there's no other legend that really has that. Crypto has obviously got his drone, which will highlight enemies in the same way Bloodhound does. And so they will always remain highlighted as they're running around. So that's the difference between Bloodhound and Crypto. But again, gives you that Digi-Threat kind of style. The weird triangle is even more help of an indicator, because knowing where your enemy is and being able to see your enemy in this game is one of the most important factors. If you know where they are but they don't know where you are, then you're probably going to win that gunfight. More like 9 times out of 10 you can win that fight unless you miss like all of your shots. And just to finish off, we will grab, so the Kraber, weirdly enough, does not come with a Digi-Threat. Can I shoot my own drone? No. So let's recall the drone. So yeah, no, it does not come with, it used to, but it no longer comes there. It now comes with a 6 to 10 unique scope for the Kraber, but it does not come with a Digi-Threat. Maybe that could be a buff for the Kraber one day, maybe it gets the 4 to 10, but at the moment it is a 4 to 6, no Digi-Threat. And it's the same for the triple take. Again, it's a 2 to 4, so no Digi-Threat for the triple take, which, to be fair, is more of a marksman, even though I think it's still classed as a rifle. Let's be honest, this is more of a marksman. And that's the Digi-Threat scope. So we will try and jump into a game in a minute. I'm just going to check if it works on... It does not work on the bow check. You cannot have a Digi-Threat on the bow check. Just to clear that up as a final point there. So when you jump into your next game, go with Bang, Caustic, and try using the Digi-Threat and see how much of a difference it makes to your game, because honestly that's really going to make things interesting for you. It does mean you have to play more of a close range unless you can find a 4 to 10 on a sniper rifle, which you probably won't, to be honest. It tends to be a care package scope, So yeah, we're gonna try some caustic today, probably, maybe a little bit of bang. Bangalore's getting a lot more attention in the cinematics, thanks to, I suspect, from Shiv and his incredible gameplays, his incredible channel. Go check him out if you want to check out some insane Bangalore plays and how to play Bangalore. Just watch Shiv. Caustic, you probably want to watch maybe someone from Alliance playing, and because they're pretty awesome. I'm gonna play some Caustic today. Let's see how that goes.